Hello guys, welcome to Major's Garage. This is Suellio. I'm the crew chief for the Formula 1, Formula 3 and Formula 3.5. Today we're going to see my lap here at the Circuit of the Americas with the Formula 1. So let's go straight away to the first corner. So here it's really important that we know how the elevation changes are affecting the mechanical grip of the car. In this case, for this braking zone, we can see that the braking zone initially is uphill. We're really going up, and while we're getting that, we're actually compressing the car against the track, so we'll get a lot of grip. As you can see, I'm actually braking 100% since the beginning, and I'm maintaining 100%, as you can see, because there's a lot of mechanical grip. But then after it, before the end of the braking zone, you can notice that the track actually starts falling. So after that, we need to really release the brakes, because it's really easy to lock up when the car gets light because of the crest. So as you can see, I'm braking really hard here, but immediately I release accordingly, as I can see that the car is really getting light because of the elevation change. And then after that, and about the line, of course, I'm pretty much going quite late here. Not actually late, I'm just paying attention to the apex so I don't hit the apex too early. So as you can see, I'm braking on a straight line, going parallel to the white line, and then I gently start turning quite late here, so I can just barely touch this curve. The less you touch it, the better. In this case, it was a little bit too much, but I got away with it. So as far as, yeah, if by not touching the yellow is already a good safety measure. I think I did touch the yellow, as you can see, but it was just a little bit, and I actually had to be careful with the throttle because of that. I knew that the car was going to be slightly upset because of that, so I got back on the throttle very gently, and then really trying to feel the grip here. As you can see, on this exit, the track falls again, so you really get a lot of you get no grip actually here, because the track is falling, the car gets really light, so it's really easy to spin here to the left if you're getting back on the power without considering that little drop here in the elevation. Just maintaining the car here close to the right. You have a lot of downforce to do this first corner here, so you don't need to worry about bringing the car to the left. And then we get to the assist. So basically what I think about is crossing this first one as much as possible. As you can see, I actually did miss it a little bit. I really want to be crossing it and kind of having the car headed to the inside of it after it. As you can see, I'm not parallel to it. I'm not facing it like this. I'm trying to cross it like this to the inside. And then we want to do the same thing with the others, but as you will see, it gets more and more difficult to do that. You can see I'm actually doing the same thing here, but I'm already closer to be parallel to it on the second one. And on the first one, I actually am already parallel to it. So, yep, the first one you can cross a lot, the second a little bit, and the third you're parallel. The fourth one, you can see that I'm actually not crossing at all. I'm actually doing the inverse of that. So I'm going away from it. I am using the curb before it, but after it, you can see how my car goes slightly wide, because this is basically a double apex. So I let my car go wide, and then I come back to the second apex there. So just a quick recap here. You cross the first one, and then also pay attention how my changes of direction are really quick. I want to be precise here, so I am the closest possible to the sausage curves. I mean, not sausage curves, the yellow curves here. Always really pay attention to that change of direction, then letting the car go wide and coming back for the double apex, and then trying to stay to the right here after this double apex, because preparing for the left-hander there is more important than getting an early acceleration here and letting the car go wide to the left. If you do that, actually, it will be really difficult to bring the car back to the right. Actually, impossible to bring the car back to the left and have to the right and have a good line for the next one. So if you go wide on this one, it's probable that you're going to have a bad line for this one, and you're going to go too wide for the next one. So it's really a domino effect. You have to pay attention to that. So double apex, patience, keep the car to the right, then you can use this curb and prepare for a better line here. And then again, one more yellow curb here. They want to be as close as possible. And also this one, ideally you want to be closing and being as close as possible to the off track by this access road here. So that's the apex that I consider. So as you can see, going back, I'm not turning too early to the curb. I'm bringing the car and waiting it to close until here. So let's see again in chase. And then I get back on the throttle exactly at the apex, which is the access road. Then I want to keep bringing the car a little bit to the right here, and then it's very important that you cross this last yellow curb here, just like that. So you can really have this good line here on this area, on this last exit. As you can see, I'm actually sliding a little bit. That's because the track is falling, so it's like a little bit of a crest, and you have no grip again, just like the exit of the T1. The track is falling a little bit here, so it's really easy to lose grip and to lose traction and spin. So be careful with that. So here for this very low speed corner, preparing for the biggest straight, longest straight, I am braking at this first white line here. You can see we have two, and I mean the first white line of the green area, because as you can see we have some others here before, but I'm just considering this one, and then braking 100% for a considerable amount of time, until you feel that the car is low enough and you don't have enough downforce to keep the car braking 100% without locking. So you want to brake 100% until the car is around 200 kilometers per hour, and then you're already starting to release. Still on a straight line though. You want to be really patient with the turn-in for this corner. It's a very difficult one. As you can see, it feels like I'm braking forever here. And then I want to turn in quite late here so I can have a perfect exit for this long straight. And then the same thing for the next one. I want to brake. Here I'm actually using different reference. So let me see. We have the first line and I'm braking before the second one. So generally I want to be braking 2 or 3 cars before the second line, and still the same kind of braking, and this time I'm actually releasing a little bit early, but as you can see it's very similar. The approach is similar. You brake for a long time on a straight line, thinking of course about not locking the tires, so you start releasing from 100 when you see that the car is already slower, and then when you turn in you want to get this good exit here. And in my case I understeered a little bit. I came a little bit too hot, and because of that I wasn't able to get back on the throttle here at the apex, so I actually had to wait a little bit before I got back on the throttle. But yeah, this is not a big problem in this case, because there's not a long we don't have a long straight after it. We already have another corner coming after. So if you don't have a really good exit here, but you gain time on the braking zone, you're gonna get away. We're still gonna get away with a good lap time. So here, bringing the car over to the right, and then braking, but not too hard because the car is not too fast, and then slowly turning the car to the right here. In this case, you don't need to use all of this curb here, but you can. It's possible. We have many possible lines here, but yeah, I think just around this area is already enough to have a good line for that one. And then really controlling the car here with the throttle. As you can see, I'm not going full throttle for a long time. I'm really feeling the rear reacting to the traction limit, and only like after the 4th gear I am actually going 100% throttle. And then for the next one, you can see how I'm really trying to prepare the braking zone for that corner there. That is really difficult to prepare. So I am turning the car to the left, but then when I start braking, you can see how I'm really straightening out so I can have a good braking performance without locking the front tires. And then I'm really gently trying to turn the car here, thinking about a good exit. And in this case, you can see that I was actually able to get back on the throttle at the apex. I just lost it. Let me go back here. So as you can see, in this case, I was actually able to get back on the throttle at the apex a little bit earlier, already having the car pretty on the traction limit here, even with such a low throttle percentage, given that this car is really powerful. Then bringing the car over to the left here to prepare for a good line of this really fast right-hander. We definitely cannot do it flat out here. So you can see that as soon as I start turning, for the car not to lose traction on the rear, I actually have to be managing the throttle all around this corner. So you can see that I'm actually managing a lot here. Then after this first apex here, I downshift to 5th. And then when I get before that, what we would say it's the first, this is the second apex, I start getting back on the throttle more aggressively, because now I know that the car has the speed to complete the corner. And also you can see that I'm actually keeping the car to the right here. I'm not really using all the exit here, because I want the car to be already preparing for the next left-hander. So by doing that, you can see how I'm able to bring the car earlier and prepare for a good braking zone here. 5th gear, and then really committing to this yellow curb here. You definitely can get it with no problems. And then getting back on the throttle here quite aggressively to keep the car rotating. And pay attention to where you get the car here. Here you will have an off track whenever you put the middle of the car over to the green part. So it's the middle of the car, that is the reference here. And then for this last braking zone, you can see that this is actually painted a lot here, because I realized that there's this small bump here, kind of invisible bump, that if you're braking 100%, after the bump you have a big chance of locking up badly the front tires. So because of that, as you can see, I'm not braking 100%, even though I can here. I'm braking a little bit less than that and really maintaining at around 80%. As I'm braking for this last corner. And then also wanting to touch the yellow curb here. If you go more than that, you will get an off track. I think it's the same thing, the middle of the car over to this white line here over to the left. So if you just with the left tires, you just touch this yellow curb, you will get away with it. And because this corner is really same way, the corner is actually, the track is falling a little bit as you go over the apex, so you have much less grip than you expect, so the car tends to be very snappy here. So the more you get this inside here without getting off track, of course, the quicker you will be on exit, and the easier the exit throttle will be. But still, you can see how I'm really progressive with the throttle application here. So yeah, this was a 136.1 with full tank, no DRS. And thank you, and see you next week. Bye bye.